Hi, everybody. We're from Facebook, YouTube. Everybody, welcome to Breathe. Today, we got an interview with John Q and what he's doing in the community. This is our community spotlight episode. This is episode one. We talk about episode two and the last part of this episode. But right now, man, with no further ado, we're gonna bring in Mr. John Q. How you doing, Mr. John Q?
Hello, everybody.
Finally got it in. Now we ready to go. Tell me a
You
little bit
breaking
about
up a little bit.
your story. What made you what got you to this point?
Uh, well, I'm gonna just in order to tell you that part, I gotta tell you like my complete story. I'll try to make it as brief as possible. I
Take your
was
time.
raised in the systems of counties all over. Uh, I was born in the foster care, to me, which is the first carceral system that we have. From there, I went to juvenile home, not for a crime, but because the foster home that I was living in, I ran away from, and when the police found me, they took me to the police station, called her to come get me. She was there to to beat me with the heel of her shoe, drunk. So they put me in a juvenile home, uh, without a crime. They put me in a juvenile home. From there, I went to Boysville. From Boysville, I went to prison. I spent 31 years in prison. While I was in prison, uh, you you hear so much sadness. You hear so many stories, so many plights. You see holistically the big picture of how much struggle and how much pain going on. Well, at least I did, and so I chose to start investing my time, using my time to research me, myself, my psychology, why I am the way I am, why I've done the things I've done, what led up to it, and ultimately, after I did introspection, right, and
Hmm.
worked it out in myself, I started to study the reasons, the conditions that put me in the mind frames and the belief system that built the thought patterns that I have. Uh, and when it's all said and done, I was raised. I'm a youth who was raised by the system, right? I'm a child, literally raised by the system, and I'm the product of it. This is what it produced, and it made me angry, right? It made me angry because as a child that was dependent on a system that was set up to supposed to be able to protect children and raise children right,
Hmm.
right? It didn't. And this is what it produced. And the conditions and the environments that we live in produce these belief systems, these mind state, and indoctrinate children. Uh, the social environment that's going on right now, that's been going on for years, the systematic racial uh, oppression and repression that's put on people like right now in our communities, right? It affect guys like I'm a guy who did all this time, 50 years old, about to be 50 in September. And there's not been a change in what's my contribution to life, right? So I really want to contribute. I really want to be able to be impactful for these
Hmm.
children. I was raised in Sycamore Meadows. Uh, when I went back out there, because this is where I'm raised, I have family, a lot of family live out there. And I see uh, the conditions, the lease agreements that they bound under, that put them in slavery. It's basically turns affordable housing into a plantation. It's the lease agreements that do it, and they tried to they stay 2 feet from each other. I mean, literally, the doors are like 3 feet from each other, so they can't observe social distancing in no
Wow.
kind of way, even in the COVID epidemic, which is crazy to me. And I don't see no COVID relief coming in there, and no
Right.
affordable housing places where it's needed the most. Those people stay 4 feet from each other. But some people were having a birthday party for their daughter. Some people were sitting on their porch. Some more people sitting on their porch. They called it a block party. Police pulled up. When the police pulled up, the guy said, "Man, what you mess?" Put big shine, they big lights on them. Guy asked him, why you messing with us, man? We just enjoying ourselves, man. Right? What, you want to hit the weed? Police got offended. Called 7 more police, and they did a semicircle in front of the houses. 15 days later, the police, the complex, sent them potential eviction notices because they were having block parties saying they violated their lease agreement. First, it wasn't a block party. They staked five houses to five houses to a building, and they stay 3 feet from each other. If all of them come out on a porch because they told them they can't install their own air conditioners, they can't use the outside water spigots to run sprinklers and fill pools for their children, right? So they forced to either stay in where they can't have air and use the water, or they can't come outside because it's considered a block party. And I thought those were inhumane conditions. And when I called attention to it, man, it was amazing, the power of people, right? The power of humanity. I'm gonna tell you something honestly. Uh, since I've been home, I've seen a better class of people in prison than I have in the world. It seemed like the humanity is lost out here. When you can have that all around you, and there's so much beauty around it. They gentrifying this area. They trying to let Sycamore Meadows die. It's so much beauty around here. They took the basketball courts from there. They took the playgrounds from there. They moved in the library to where those children can't walk across the street. The children didn't even have a crosswalk to get to a library. The most dangerous place it is, and they don't even have a crosswalk, right? These type of things where they gentrifying, man. They trying to kill affordable housing. And while the plight of our people is so big, our people gonna need affordable housing. I wish we didn't. We don't live in a world where we don't, right? We need affordable housing. And we ain't living in a world with no quick fixes to the problems of those people. Accumulatively, right, everybody can get down on those people and say those people, right, ain't trying or whatever. But systematically, this country has put those people behind, 400 years behind. The wealth of this country was built on their ancestors' back. They don't have money that's passed down from generation to generation. What they have passed down to them is poverty, struggle, strife, right? So it's the system created the conditions and the mind states of those people. What they've been through created the conditions and the mindsets of those people. So it's not them. They've been conditioned to be this way. And when you leave some people to starve, they're gonna feed off each other. They're gonna feed off each other. When you kill that place, it's the reason for all the violence in the place. They leaving it to tombstone. It's turning into willow weeds. They leaving it to the wild, wild west. They not paying attention to it. They trying to let it die. But while they trying to let that place die, the children suffer in those places. But at the end of the day, we need affordable housing for our people because some of those children are going to grow up in these same conditions in this society, and they're going to need that affordable housing. So we need to protect those in our environment. We need to conserve the affordable housing. They cattle, they herding black people or low income people because for me, really, race is a real thing. It exists. Yeah. Racism really exists out here. But the big picture of this thing, with everybody missing, this is a class struggle for real. This is a class because it don't matter whether you, whatever color you want to call yourself. If you in the low class, they don't care about you no matter what happens. Mm-hmm. So we need to protect affordable housing, but mostly because 90% of it is black people. This is a form of genocide. And when they talk about the new Jim Crow, the way these things have morphed into like subtle slavery that you can hide, that's not transparent, that's caught up in procedural red tape, but it's still slavery. And I don't care how pretty they try to make the outside. They spend more money on the grass and the bushes than they do on the inside of those houses because they want to keep the land beautiful because they're going to tear it down so the land around it still has to be beautiful. So I took on this plight.
Hey, man, that's, when I was impressed by your story at the protest, you know what I mean, where we met. And when you was telling your story and the passion behind it, and I said, man, this brother is really being the change that he want to see. Um, so I was really impressed by that. It motivated me as well. So, I really, really, appreciated that. But let's talk more on as far as the Sycamore Meadows. What are you doing to make change? Because I know you got an event coming up, I believe tomorrow. Let's talk more about that. Are you there, Mr. Q?
I didn't say that again.
Let's talk more about your
I didn't.
what you're doing at Sycamore Meadows and what's your event tomorrow, different things of that nature, sir.
Oh yeah. Uh, well, really, what I want to do, I'm trying to do a movie night for the kids. I try to do some for about a month and a half now. We do some like every 2 weeks for the people with Sycamore Meadows when they told them they started writing them up saying they couldn't have air conditioners. And strangely enough, they started telling them this type of stuff after I did a protest at the rental office about the conditions. And then
Hmm.
they came by and started telling people now they can't they got them they get written up uh, for having a air conditioner in the window. We did an event where we gave away fans. Uh, we had a beautiful event. People showed up in a monsoon, right? In a monsoon, and still gave away fans to all those people out there.
Mhm.
Well, I asked God for air and water, and hey, He gave me a monsoon. You hear? Uh, but we've been doing those type of things. This time right here, I want to do a movie night for the children. But I
Yeah,
also bringing some spoken word out there. I mean, I'm trying to make a beautiful event for people across the street that can't get anywhere because they don't have cars because they're impoverished, right?
hmm,
So I'm just trying to keep the area alive, beauty. I'm trying to bring arts, literature, and science to those people. They always ask me when I say that they being over policed and things like that. Okay, and and they love to use this. Politicians and everybody love to use it because they believe it confounds society. Because they have society so scared. We so scared of each other. So they always ask me, so okay, you saying stop the police, and then what? Okay, it's going to create a void, and then the criminals do this. What do we put? So how do we stop? You don't just create a void and leave, right? The Bible tells us that, right? For
correct.
everybody who religious, it tells you that, right? You don't just create a void, right? You have to
Right.
fill it, right? So let's fill it with arts, literature, and science. So I'm trying to bring some arts, literature, and science. I got some singing going on. I got some spoken word. I got a beautiful brother named Mon that I really think you would love to talk to, man. You would love to interview this brother. If you come to the event, you'll hear him
Okay.
right for yourself. Powerful brothers. I got some powerful brothers coming down, young brothers coming to speak. I got some people teaching tenant rights. I got a whole tenants rights association come down there, some lawyers to teach tenant rights. Because the first thing we have to do is educate these people. And then we got to educate at grass level. We have to remember this, man. Most of the people out there, it's 119 units, 115 units with children under 5. There's 69 units with elders over 65, right?
Hmm.
Most of the units are young women who got pregnant, right? Need somewhere to stay, raise their family, to start their lives, or whatever. But they got pregnant at a young age and all this, and that might be the people might say that's their fault or whatever. But once again, like, and every time people say that about my people, I'm gonna hit them with you repressed them, you oppressed them, you wouldn't let them become educated for 400 years, so you pass down her heritage of uneducation for 400 years. Don't blame these people for being uneducated, right?
Right.
But on our side, to those of us, are we have to invest in our own people education. So I'm trying to educate them at grassroots level. Many of them are illiterate. You see what I'm saying? Many of them are illiterate. So when you come down there, this is how politicians and all them always trick them with flowery words and everything. They don't know what half the words mean, right? But they sound
Right.
good. They sound educated. And if they come from a black man, they really for it. That's the only thing that really they sounded good and they black. I'm for it, right? But that's a
Hmm.
mistake. That's a mistake.
Yes,
You see what I'm
sir.
saying? Because flowery words get us nothing. Write a poem, If you
Yeah,
want flowery words, you see what I'm saying? Action
I agree.
from all black middle management, stuck between these rocks in the hard place. It's a war going on here for real where they killing us. And if you don't believe that it's time to choose a side, you see what I'm saying? To like, but it ain't even about choosing a side because I'm not asking those brothers and sisters to lose their jobs. I'm trying to help those brothers and sisters have some leverage to be able to push to their hierarchies, right? That's really
Mm-hmm.
what I'm trying to do for those brothers and sisters, right? But I don't want those brothers and sisters out there trying to sell to people slump, trying to sell them garbage. They're not really gonna do nothing. So I'm not into the flowery words. So, and if I'm not into it, I'm gonna demand that from our municipalities or whatever, from our brothers and sisters in black middle management. I have to be willing to be out here doing the same thing, right? So I'm trying to show them too that these are simple things that can be done if they really for the people. If they come to unite the people. I went to some tenants association meetings where they kept saying, well, did you write a letter? They had all these things going on. You had a complaint, you took it to her, but then did you write a letter after that? And every time somebody said, yeah, I wrote a letter, and they say, how many letters did you write? Like I was sitting there listening to this stuff, and I'm like, oh, these people shouldn't have to write letters. They shouldn't have to cry out. You at management level for the complex, the managers should come check and make sure things are okay. That's what our brothers and sisters in middle management. They shouldn't have to cry out to you because your platform when you ran for this stuff was for the people and you're gonna make change. But if you never came to the green, we ain't never seen them,
That's
right?
right.
We've never seen them, but you calling us and you talking about you our community and you the high, but we haven't seen you. You ain't even coming to check, and you talking about they have to call you and check, right? They failed the inspection. 90% of the units failed inspection.
Wow.
That was the check. That was somebody calling out right then. That was the inspection people telling you something going on in your community in this environment. It's inhumane. If 90% of them failed inspection, that means they inhumane. They not up to code. They not up to standard. Politicians who get all these who's supposed to be paying attention to this, the brothers and sisters in middle management, who getting paid to pay attention to these things, was supposed to come down on that hard themselves. I got Eli Savage. I watched him last week on your interview. Eli Savage is what he says to me. It sounds beautiful,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm gonna tell you a whole truth. I don't. A prosecutor is powerless to change the things that he was saying. He powerless to do because at the end of the day, the letter, the the spirit of the law is written in the letter of the law. He is bound by law. I don't care what happens. He is bound by law and judge's discretion to make change. But ultimately, at the end of the day, his job is going to be to prove the police case. At the end of the day, that's his job,
Right.
right? You have a conflict of interest when he says he comes from the activist community and says he's going to convict people. He's going to do it fairly. It's not only on him. It's not only left up to him. So to promise us that to me, knowing that you can't fulfill that promise, you're giving me some flowery words. You're giving me some flowery words. If you wanted to do something, you don't join the persecute, right? Like you don't join the prosecution.
Yeah, I agree.
You become a lawyer and you fight for the people, right? Like I don't understand this guy platform, and there's a lot of people, a lot of organizations, community organizers out here who wholly support this man, who wholly support the things that he's saying because it sounds good. And he might have been at some protests and he might have been at some marches, but we're going to be marching against him in a minute. This is going to
That's
be one
true.
of the guys we're going to be marching against. You see, and we talking about we supporting him. I don't understand this. I don't understand what's going on out here, right? People want to believe, people so desperate, and they want to believe so bad they want to find something to cling to, right?
Mm-hmm.
But everybody needs to see we can't keep playing it to words. There's action that can be done. Churches, I'm holding everybody, even myself, because I took from my community. I hurt my community, right? I
Mm-hmm.
hurt my community. And I'm holding myself just as accountable. I'm laboring day and night to give back to this stuff. My own finance and everything. And I'm just a brother who just came from prison,
Right.
right? But I'm wholly committed to this. And I'm holding everybody accountable. Churches, everybody, right?
Right. Right.
Man, suffer as Jesus suffered, right? I mean, I'm talking to everybody, whoever, pro-black activists, right? Right here, real suffering. Let's get on the battleground where real suffering going on, right? Let's change it from the bottom up, from the top down. I'm attacking it from the bottom and the top. I'm out there in the middle of the street with the brothers who out there doing the crazy stuff, delivering this message. Toe to toe, cheek to cheek, chest to chest with them too, arguing. I done had fights in the middle of the street, literally for real. I have. I mean, these brothers is courageous, good brothers, man, in a tough situation, man.
Yeah.
And for them, this is what they forefathers have passed down on to them from generation to generation. Right? And you're not gonna break that, just like you're not gonna break the racism that's in every one of us. It's been in every person in the United States for real for 500 years. Listen, it's deeply ingrained in this society. You got a lot of trauma for these people. And every psychologist in the world will tell you trauma ain't something you just can get rid of quickly. It's a process, not an event, man. And it's got to be a whole lot of things contributed to changing this thing. And so, listen, if you want to stop the violence out there, bring the churches, bring all the good people, bring all the white people, do stuff for the children. We don't go to Oakbrook right across the street and do all that stuff. Why not? Because there's beauty. There's people in the community who don't express those sentiments, right? Who express the sentiment. If you come out here, you going to jail, right?
Yeah.
So that sends the message right there. But people don't come where, hey, man, that's a place for children. We ain't going over here with that crazy stuff. Them brothers and sisters got that in their hearts, because when I appeal to them with that thing right there, hey, man, what you running around out here like that for, man? There's children running around out here, man. So if you get doing that record, my bad. You right, man, because my cousin, my niece, you appeal to the nature of the people.
Yeah.
Right? It's in them too. If we create a beautiful place for the children, they're going to say, hey, man, that's a beautiful place for the children. We're not going over there with that stuff. And that's how we change psychology. You want to gentrify something, gentrify the psychology. Push it out. Push the psychology out. Don't push the people out. You see what I'm saying?
You was talking about,
thing, I'm trying to get some beautiful stuff to these children. I want to get this movie night to these children. I want to make it big. I just ran into a dilemma. Maybe I'm gonna do a shameless plug right now. I just lost my bouncy house, right? And my event is Sunday. So if anybody can help me get a bouncy house, man, because I said I was gonna have this bouncy house, please help me, man. Please, I need this bouncy house.
You was mentioning the church, and that struck a chord with me, because that's the reason I started this whole Breathe thing. Me being not just a man of God, but a man of God with thorns and scars, and not ashamed to say I'm not perfect. And I think one of the things that the church does have to do is be more involved. This is what made me jump out and go, look, man, we got to do something. We can't sit in the four walls of the church and just count on prayer. Prayer works, but it has to be followed up by some form of action.
He said in there, though.
Huh?
Faith without work is dead.
Right, exactly.
That's what it say, no?
That's exactly right. So I think that's what made me because I remember me praying and me saying, Lord, why your people is not doing anything? Why are they not in the forefront? And that's where be the change that you want to see, because it seemed like the Lord was giving me, I put it in you to do it. So go do it. You don't have to wait for anybody else to do it. Just do it. So that's why I came forth. And I always encourage pastors and preachers and evangelists, don't blur the line between oh, can I be a civil rights activist, or can I speak on these things and still be have a relationship with God? Of course. You know what I mean? I personally believe if Christ was down here now, that he would speak on it. So it's just one of those things that we, as the church, that's what bothers me. And so this is what I want to see churches do more of, is go out in the community, come to your event, help you with your event. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm pushing for. But, you know, when you said that, that's what made me think, like, that's exactly why I
You
jumped
know,
in the race.
but see, we need because listen, since in every doctrine you read, whatever it was, when you seen struggle,
Yeah.
you seen people, a group of people allow struggle, right? Go through struggle. There's always a select few, or there's always one among them who raise up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who raise up, and they might suffer. That person always suffers. That person always goes through some things, but the people unite behind it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's important, even in the church community. Church community is still a big, it's a humongous community, right?
Yeah.
Uh, and they have the blueprint for how struggle go and how somebody's supposed to raise up. And actually, it demands that they raise up too in the doctrine.
That's right.
But they've also been conditioned to believe what raise up look like. See, just like slavery and racism is evolving, it evolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's formless, it's fluid. If it man, they instituted this thing so sweet. It changes all on its own. It just flows with it. They don't even really have to work to make it happen. You see what I'm
Nope.
saying? Same thing with a mentality and a way of life, traditionalism, right? Where the church gets used to doing what their forefathers did, saying it's sufficient because it was sufficient for their forefathers. But times are changing. And this is saying to say times, it's an old Negro saying to say times that was won't be no more. You see what I'm saying? But
Mm-hmm.
it's one of the most powerful things that you better pay attention to, because it's saying everything, nothing is going to stay the same. So if the church is staying the same, but time is moving, the church is regressing. It's not progressing, right? And if the church ain't filled with people who willing to get out here, when Jesus went to get Simon, when he went to get his apostles, he just walked up and said, drop everything you doing, get
Everything.
your sandals and roll out, and then walked away. They dropped They didn't go in the house and say, well, let me get my lease agreement. Let me get my checkbook. They walked with him. They went. Now, if they truly believe what they reading in that book, do they believe that they're going to stand in front of God and God going to say, well, why when, yeah, you came to church every Sunday, but why when that suffering was going on right there and you knew about it, you did nothing? Sins of remission and sins of omission.
Yeah.
Sitting back doing nothing when there's something that's supposed to be done is a sin. And I don't care how many good things you try to replace it with, you still adding up your bad things. And recollection, reconciliation ain't gonna just absolve you from that.
No.
In your own heart, it's not. It's
Mm-hmm.
gonna destroy them, and they don't even know it. When you go against what you say you believe in, it destroy, and you know, because you know it more. You know it before anybody else,
Right.
right? It's gonna eat you up from the inside out, and it's why you find so many people who close to God stressed out,
Yes, sir. That's the
stressed
truth.
out. Do when it's time to do, man. It's true suffering going on. I went to the church. I went to every local store. I went to the ice cream men that drive through my neighborhood every day and said, hey, you eat off my neighborhood every day. You friendly with the people. You know the kid's name. This is an event for the kids. I need free ice cream at those events. Well, stop selling ice cream out here. You're not just going to take from the people. When I went to the churches, they were giving away fruit and stuff like that while I was pulling up on them while they was doing
Mm-hmm.
work. And I said, hey, I'm having a thing at Sycamore Meadows, and I would love for you to come and you can give this stuff away right over there. You can post up, do your same little events. My people, and it's twisted in a lot of ways, they arrogant. in a lot of ways, man. They like really turned their nose up at me. I'm just being honest. And that's why people should be careful whoever they talk to and whatever they do, because when you representing something, you represent it 24/7.
You
You
know,
never
nine.
know who you might be talking to or what might be
Mhm.
going on. It's one of the parables for those religious people. You see, it's one of the parables. It's a woman who seen Jesus speaking in another town. She said Jesus was coming to her town. She told him, "Hey, let me come to, when you come to my town, come stay at my house." He said, "Okay, I'll be there tomorrow." She ran home, cleaned her house, got to cook. Somebody knocked on the door. She opened the door. It's a little girl. Say, "My mother, I lost my mother. Could you help me?" She told the man in the street, "Hey, I'm cooking for Jesus. Could you help her? Tell her to take her to her mom." Close the door. 10 minutes later, somebody else knocked on the door. Say, "I hear the beautiful aromas coming out of your house. Can I have something to eat? I'm homeless. I'm hungry." No, this is Jesus food. Go down the street to the restaurant. They'll tell them to give you some food. Somebody else come to the door saying, "I'm sick. Could you get me to a doctor?" She was like, "I can't. I'm waiting on Jesus." End of the night, Jesus never showed up. She see Jesus speaking to the town the next day. When he get finished, she go up to him and say, "Jesus, I thought you said we was coming." "I was at your house 3 times and you turned me away." So you never know who you supposed to be helping, man. Who Jesus is. What form he coming, but I'm telling you, he in every one of these children.
Every one
This
of
is
them.
Sycamore Meadow. He in
Hmm.
every one of these children, and he gonna walk away from
You did still there, Mr. Q? Oh, okay. We're gonna Mr. Q. If you still there, just follow the link that you had and just come back in. But yeah, we having a good conversation with John Q, who's holding an event tomorrow. It's Sycamore Meadows. One of the things with me, the reason I wanted to talk to him and we'll be spotlighting different people that's doing different things in this community and the surrounding communities, because I think it's very important that we do that. You know what I mean? That we shed light on people that's making and creating positive change. Mr. Q was talking about church's involvement. Me being a man of God, I believe that in order to serve a community, you have to be out in the community, right? So this is what prompted me to get to know people in the community. I'm originally from Detroit. I don't know the community like John Q or the mayor, Mr. Foley, or I don't know it as good as they know it. So I'm here to help them as much as I can push the agenda forward. I see that Mr. Q is back, so we're gonna pull him back in, and we'll go from there. All right, Mr. John Q.
Hey, okay, man.
Oh no, don't worry about
Yeah,
it. Go ahead, you finish what you were saying.
I don't know really how much of it you heard.
You was at the point that you was the last part I heard you was saying about the church and saying how they was taken from the how you walked up on and they was giving off fruit or something like that,
Yeah,
and you was letting them know like, hey, I need help with this, I need help with this. uh
yeah,
and so that's what you was talking about last.
yeah. They kind of turned their nose up at me, right?
Mhm.
And I was just thinking, when they did it, I was just thinking of the parable where the woman invited Jesus to her house, and he told her he was coming, and all day while she was preparing for him to come, people were coming to her house asking her for help, and she was turning them away in the name of Jesus, saying she was doing something for Jesus. And so Jesus never showed up. And the next day, when she seen him speaking in the square, she came to him and said, "Jesus, I thought you said you was coming to my house. I prepared for you all day." He said, "Woman, I came to your house a lot yesterday, right? And you turned me away every time.
Yeah,
And you turn me away every time." You see what I'm saying? If people believe in whatever religion they choose to believe in,
that's
if
right.
it's you toward love, peace, joy, if that's what it's supposed to be born into, and you saying you fighting in the name of that, right? Then your enemy is suffering, pain, right? And if that's what you're fighting for, you just want it. You just want these things, but you don't want to work for them, right? And then at the end of the day, you want them for yourself, and you don't care whether nobody else get it. But at the end of the day, uh, you can't enjoy and have joy, peace, and love without someone else. People are united. It's designed to be this way. People are supposed to be united, right? It's where joy, peace, and happiness is found. It's found in community. It's found in others. It exists in others, right? It's what makes you know it's alive in you. When you first born, you learn love, joy, and peace from your mother. You see what I'm saying? You learn those things. You see what I'm saying? It's taught to you through somebody else. You see what I'm saying? You feel those things because of other people, and you can't feel them alone. I don't care if you put yourself, ask them. You put yourself in whatever riches you want to put yourself in. If you're there by yourself, you ain't got joy, you ain't got peace, and you ain't got love, right? And it's the only way we gonna have with each other, man. Is with each other. And if you're fighting for those things, there's a frontline fight in every one of these affordable housing. You want to find out where the black people need us most at? In affordable housing. It's the easiest place to go find out where they need us at. It's low income housing, right?
Yeah, you
So
ain't
most
kidding.
definitely, you see what I'm saying? We want to find out how to help. We ain't got to go search.
That's
We
right.
ain't got to go search to find out where to go help. They gave us the place. They gentrified us to the place where they wanted us at. These are immigrant detention centers. That's all they gave you the place to come help.
Immigrant detention. That's a good one. That's correct too. That's a correct
I
term.
promise you, that's the correct terminology.
Yeah.
Right, man. Listen, man, and then how the language of the law is written in the letter of the law. So the terminologies that they use are important. You better watch how they label us and what labels we take on ourselves. Because sometimes what we do, we signing into a contract that we're unaware of without reading the fine print. But the similarities between those places and these places, man, all people got to do is really open their eyes. See, nobody looking. Everybody wants to have tunnel vision when they drive past this place. It's one road drive past this place. And anybody who not from around there or low income, don't even drive down this road. And when they do, they don't turn, they don't look right. I guarantee it. They don't look right. Right? They don't want to see this stuff. Yeah, they don't want to see that. People believe if I don't see it, it don't exist, so I'm absolved from any guilt.
Yeah.
Right? But it exists, man. And we need to start calling it. That's why I'm glad brothers like you out here where we can call attention to these things. I wanna touch the guilt of all these people.
Yeah.
I want to bust it wide open. I hope they have crying, get down on their knees, start crying for forgiveness from these people. I hope they feel the guilt that much. And I'm trying to drive it into them for real. You see, that's a powerful emotion. And it free them.
Yeah, I'm about to
Free
say
themselves. I'm not only trying to free the green, I'm trying to free them from their guilt too.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be free from mine too.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And this is how we get free from it. We give back to those who suffering for real. And we take on the hard fights, not the easy fights. Not just, even though help the Salvation Army as much as you can, but just dropping some change in there don't absolve you from this.
No.
Right? It's a real frontline battle right here. Middle class, the bourgeois, all of them. If they get rid of the low class, who becomes the next low class? The bourgeois. Right now, if you put it on a scale, low class, middle class, high class, not low class now, middle class just dropped down to low class.
Yeah.
So they'll be next. So pay attention, all you bourgeois people. Middle class ain't but a step away from low class. And if you let them get rid of low class, you become the new low class. Pay attention, man. Help your people. Let's unite. Help your people where they can't make us a class. I'm trying to destroy a class system anyway. A class system is just like a caste system in the Bible. Same thing. It's the same thing we passing out right now. It's the same thing we passing out right now. You gonna do, this is what capitalism is doing to the world. You're gonna do what your forefathers did, and you ain't gonna do nothing else. And you ain't never gonna receive a status higher than that in the society. They damn sure doing it to black people.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? They damn sure doing it. And if we don't believe we got to unite economically, however, but first we got to unite in getting the suffering. We need our army. We need our soldiers. We need the youth. We need the parents strong mentally, educationally. So we got to start investing in that first.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We can take, this ain't the army we can take to fight this war. We got to build our army up. And if they don't put on the whole armor of God, they better read it. They
Real
better
quick.
read it. They better read it. They gonna need it. This is why he told you to put on the home, because he told them who we fight against.
It's warfare, man.
We ain't beating against flesh and blood.
Mm-mm.
Powers, principalities, powers in high places. He told them. They read the book. I don't see them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, I don't see them. They better all that scared and all that. They better throw on that armor and march out here to all these affordable housing places, man, to help these people.
You know, I tell you this story. We was doing going out on the street, passing out pamphlets, and this is when I first became a minister. And one of the things that bothered me right off, when we got back to the church, a woman came into the church and she wasn't dressed, I guess, according to standard. It looked like, I mean, she looked like she might have had some drinks and had something to drink or whatever, but she came in and she was just standing there. So I'm in the pulpit at the time. I'm waiting for somebody to address her, welcome her in, take her to the back, talk to her, because she wasn't disorderly or anything. She was clearly had been crying, so she was going through something. So my thing was, I kept, everything in me was shaking because I'm like, was somebody, what I mean? And she walked back out the church. So what I did was I got up and I followed her out. And she told her story about being a prostitute and she used to go to church. And like I told her, I don't care about that. And I said, God doesn't care about that. You know what I mean? I said, the only thing he cares about is your heart, not what you did. I said, because I can tell you some stories,
right.
like everybody else. But God forgives. He forgives. He forgives. And to this day, man, the Lord called her into ministry and she's ministering to this day. And I think that set the tone for me that you have to put action behind prayer. You have to. There's no other way to do it. I can't just stay in this house and pray. I'm going to do that. But it takes action. It takes me saying, hey, John Q, I tell you what, I'll be there. I'll do whatever you need. I can help you. And I'm extending my hand to you, letting you know that as well. Whatever you need, if I can help you, I'll help you. But that's the thing that I believe if all the churches do, man, this will solve a lot of problems in our community.
Man, listen, let me show you something. When that woman walked in that church, she should have been the most important person in that church.
Yes.
Right? The person who seems out of place, this ceremony and form is what disturbs me about church. They get so stuck in ceremony and form that you can't deviate from ceremony and form, even when a woman who clearly walked in here, who never comes in here, right? You can tell she ain't been in the church in a long time, right? Just understand it. That woman ain't never been in here in a long time. Clearly, she been on the streets doing some stuff, but she walked in here. But she came up in here. And when she came up in here, a woman who never comes up in here, right, comes up in here drunk, crying, right? But she walked up in the church. She came for help. She came for help. She said she's at her end, right? She's at her end. And I never do this. I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm so low that I'm going to church, even though I don't feel worthy.
Yeah,
I'm going in there because I need help. The whole church was supposed to stop whatever ceremony and form it was in. And she became the most important because Jesus just walked in that church.
Yeah.
Jesus just walked in that church. Suffering just walked in that church. And if the church was about ain't no sitting there, how can you watch it, man? Listen, man, this stuff hurts me daily. I'm for real, man. Like, I ain't even ashamed to say it. Like, I pull over sometime and just cry.
Yeah. Yeah.
At like how hard the fight for these children is. How hard is it to get people to see?
what these children, man, come on, man, children.
Yeah.
I grew up like one of these children, man. Like, I'm the prop man. I do not want them to go. Nobody children. I got a 10-year-old son. His grandmama stay out there. I do not want these children to have to go through this, man. This shit is traumatizing. And all those black men that they got in prisons, jails, juveniles, man, been traumatized for years, man. And they not fixing their trauma. They lock them up, man. They incarcerate Christ. They incarcerate Christ. And we can't just sit back and watch that occur. I don't want not just the children, though. The women, the brothers, the sisters, man, whoever, man, we can't just sit back and watch that stuff occur, man, and call ourselves God-fearing, law-abiding. Right? I'm not a law-abiding person. I am not. And I don't mean that in a way where I'm a criminal neither.
Right.
I just believe the laws are not for me, man. They not instituted to help me or my people in no kind of way, man. In no kind of way. Laws have been subjugating us for years, man. So I'm not a law-abiding person, man. I'm not.
Right? Expound on that for me, Mr. John Q. Expound on when you say laws are not for me or my people.
The Constitution was written. When the Constitution was written, man, we were slaves, man. We were still under slavery, man. When they wrote it, they said, we the people, man, we were not included in we the people, man. I mean, that's just at a base level, serious stuff, right? At a base level. Then through Reconstruction, 14th, 15th Amendments, right? All these things are written into the law, man. Are written into the law where we are not a part of this law system, and we have never supposed to be a civil rights bill. Do they have a civil rights bill? Why does a civil rights bill have to exist for my people? And why does it still have to be signed right now? And if it's not signed, what happens to my people's civil rights? Is there enough people living among us who go through that? The laws, man, it is all written into the letter of the law. So the laws are not for us. They meant to subjugate us. And why are we living? Why are we the one that have to have special conditions under this law? Why are special conditions for the black people under the law? If we part of we the people, there's no need for the 14th, 15th Amendment if all men are created equal. Right? I mean, this is just real truth going on around us. The law is not built for our people, man. It's meant to keep us repressed and oppressed. And everybody keep thinking the answer is in we're going to hire somebody else and change the law. The laws is written in so much red tape, man. It's so vague and ambiguous. Right now. Right. And man, at the end of the day, I got a white dude, a megalomaniac in power who just says, excuse my language, fuck the law whenever he wants. Whenever he wants. The law is a European tool that they use to subjugate and oppress, man. It's colonization. It's colonization, man. Why we just can't be a community, man? And we make our own rules and whatever. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Do things. Why we all can't grow gardens and we all feed each other. You see what I'm saying? Why we ain't trying to push toward those things, trying to structure this thing so much. Because when you structure all these things, you do laws. Now capitalism get caught up in it. Laws get twisted when capitalism gets involved in it. Laws get bent, formed, twisted into whoever want them to be what.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, ain't none of my people got enough money to bend the law. It's the people who got the money off the backs of my people who got the money to be able to bend the law. And so they're going to bend the law so they can keep getting money off the backs of my people. We ain't got enough money to fight that machine, so that machine ain't working for us. We can't put no money in the slot. So that machine ain't going to produce nothing for us. That law stuff ain't going to produce nothing for us. And that's just real talk.
You know, I was thinking about when you were saying that sometimes you just pull over and cry. You know, I was, you know, in seeing all these happen throughout the years. And this is why I was so passionate about it, because seeing all this happen throughout the years to our people, by the police brutality. Not just that, but just systemic racism as a whole. So you watch it and you live through it. And for years, you know, like I said, I've been in and out the church, in and out the church. But for years, it was like, I just pray and you lay back and you just rely on scriptures and the prayer. But for some reason, when George Floyd, when we saw that public lynching, and that hit a chord, man, that I can't even describe. It was almost like, at first, even as a man of God, I wanted to go out and tear some stuff up. That's how it triggered the Moses effect. You understand what I'm saying? It triggered the thing of, I'm not going to let you continue to hurt my people. So it escalated, and I couldn't do nothing because at the same time, the Lord was saying, this is the time that I need you to do something different. Because my wife was looking at me, man, and I was just crying looking at this because it was horrific to see a brother get lynched on live television. You know what I mean? And if that didn't strike a chord, and preachers, churches, the mosques, the whatever, I don't care what religion it is, if it didn't strike something in your heart, man, I don't know what will. I really don't.
This is my point, right? Like, listen, this George Floyd was the heinous thing that, like, people did the right thing on and filming. But for years, bro, they've been killing us.
Yeah.
Right? Been killing us like that. Now, these are the ones that are caught, right, on video. Even the ones for years, all the ones that we done caught on video. Now, I've been doing this, I'm 50. Before the social media rage where you could film things and all this, how many of us you think died? How many of us you still die off camera right now? See, we getting upset about the ones that we see. It upsets me that we have to see it. And it upsets me how fast we forget seeing it. How fast that will just die out.
Yeah.
And George Floyd will become a person on a t-shirt. You see what I'm saying? That people scream whenever they see some social injustice or something. They're going to become, my man, remember George? It's just like George Floyd. But the action to stop the murder of people like that. See, when we tie names to it, and I want these brothers' names remembered, and I want them immortalized, but those are all our names, man. Those are all us laying on that ground. And until we see that that's all us laying there, just listen, man. What tactic did they teach them? And they did as a restraint measure. As a restraint measure. Look at what they teach how to restrain them. Listen, man, bringing an armed person into any environment makes it hostile. I don't care what label you give him.
Yeah.
Police, whatever label you give him. When you bring an armed person in, you create fear, intimidation. You see what I'm saying? A lot of things. And then if on top of that, the person with the weapon is an asshole, right? It really, or wants to be vindictive, right? They can. Now let me show you something they do to all black men that everybody not paying attention to either. Up until recently, black men who've been convicted of a crime, no matter what crime you're convicted of a crime, felony, you can't have a gun. You can't do any of those things in prison. Really, the whole big picture, everybody as they want. They arming up. They arming up like a mug, but they want to keep us broke, armless, and they know if they convict us of a felony, they can keep us armless. We can't fight. We can't do anything. Y'all better understand the big picture about how they trying to keep us subjugated, keep us down as a people, man. I mean it, man. I've been watching it. I've been paying attention. Just them brothers are so resilient. Black people for years, we've been resilient people.
Yeah.
And we'll make anything, whatever you try to keep from us, we'll get at times 10.
Yes,
right?
sir.
Times 10. So, like, but I want everybody to see the whole picture. And it's like everybody, it's hard for everybody to see it when you're living in the middle of it. I had a chance. To me now, it was a gift from God, for real, to be able to go to prison and see this from the outside looking in, right? It's hard for people out here to see the big picture when, man, the little picture so far is crushing. You see what I'm saying? I can't get to the big screen because the little screen crushing me right now. You see what I'm saying? And that's why it's incumbent upon people like us to make them aware, to show them the big picture. Because I believe me, when these people see this big picture, they're going to be angry, man. And then we got our war. Then we can fight. Then we can fight until they get angry. They got to see that an enemy exists. And man, this structure been so smooth, it acting like it was a friend. And when it wasn't an enemy, it done tricked a lot of it done tricked a lot of my people, man.
Yeah, they've been real slick about it for years.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. But you know, I wanted to go back because I was talking about the Moses effect, right? And how anybody can have a Moses effect. I don't care if you religious or not. But just seeing your brother or your sister being beat upon and being killed, eventually, like you said, eventually anger should rise. Now, what you do with the anger depends on you, but the anger should rise. Because I know with me, man, I'm telling you, I was mad, man, because it was like, you gotta be kidding me, because I feel like my son might be next. My son, 20 years old.
The possibility that it could happen to my son, right? The possibility that it could happen to my son. Listen, it's not anger, it's called righteous indignation. I mean, they've been using words to get away with a lot of stuff, right? So I don't call it anger, I call it righteous indignation. Right. And sometimes, man, there's a peace that can only be found on the other side of war. Right. Now, what that war looks like, right? Consumerism, capitalism, right? Companies, wherever this goes on at, if it's allowed in the county, the whole county, like, tear this mug up, loot. I don't care because it's going to call attention. I believe call attention to it in the biggest way, the most impactful way possible. And I believe if they scared, if they fear that kind of stuff, then they need to invest more into making sure that that kind of stuff don't happen. Because when the county, somebody who works for the county can kill a black man openly like that, the whole county wrong. I mean, every business in it and everybody was something wrong that mentality was allowed to exist out here, and everybody wrong and everybody accountable for it, because at the end of the day, that's somebody's child, man. And you can't be talking about no what kind of level of anger you could put on that. Live as a black man, walk in black men's shoes, walk in the little black children's shoes who believe when they get pulled over, their daddy might die. You see what I'm saying? Who got that real trauma in them. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. When a little white boy get pulled over with his father, he think he just gonna get a ticket. He's still happy. He talks to the officer and everything. The little black boy starts crying because he think his daddy or somebody in his car finna get killed. Something wrong with that county. Something wrong with that community. Right? And they need to be raised to the ground. What did he do to Sodom and Gomorrah? What did he do? Ain't no levels of sin. Ain't no such thing as big sin and little sin. If it's sinful, tear it down, root and branch, even the sand. Burn it to the ground. You see what I'm saying? People, businesses, stuff like that, don't want their businesses burnt to the ground when these type of things happen. Then they need to get out there and invest and support and make sure that those type of things don't happen in their community. You're not just going to stay safe behind those little gates and think you just get black people just get to kill and you get to spend their money still. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And you're just going to be safe? No. Because listen, it's a known fact in history that people they're not just going to stop. They're not just going to stop. You see what I'm saying? Doing these things, right? And the only time that they really get big attention is when those people tear it up, when the government and everybody got to get involved. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. For killing, man. This is what we got to do for killing. But let a black dude kill a white person. You ain't going to have to go through nothing to get that found. They going to put every resource and every energy they got into it. You see what I'm saying? They going to find it, say we going to beat it on appeal. They don't care. You see what I'm saying? Man, like, listen, it's unfair for us out here. And it's unfair for the world to judge us according to that metric. but they judge us according to a metric that's built on social determination, right? And the metric that's built on social determination is flawed because society is flawed in and of itself. The basic term, right, is flawed in and of itself. So right now, people making rules who morally corrupt, morally bankrupt. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they the ones making the rules, and society is basing everything they feel, think, and say off these people who making these rules. Right? Society messed up. Like, and until like when people suffer, they get active. They get active. And while these people suffering, just like we watching this suffering, it's making us get active.
Mm-hmm.
Like if them businesses suffer, right, they get active.
That's true.
But this is like my thing with the police, businesses, churches, and everybody. Quit being reactive. Be proactive. We can prevent some of these things from happening before they happen, so we don't have to fear them.
Yeah.
The police in and of itself are reactive. They always come after something happened. They stop nothing. They stop nothing. They come after something else happens, right? Be more proactive. Get proactive. Take the damn gun off. Put a baseball coach shirt on and go out here and coach the children baseball. Get the children something else to do. You see what I'm saying? Don't drive over our grass. Sycamore Meadows, they drive over the grass. Like the little kids don't play in their backyards. Like they drive over the sidewalks. They even got so arrogant with where the maintenance dudes do it now. At his leisure, he don't use roads no more. He drive over the grass now too. I had to stop him. I'm telling you, man, listen, let's be where the suffering at. It's fulfilling. I'm telling y'all now, it is fulfilling. Yeah, I cry sometimes, but it's fulfilling. I mean it. But the tears this emptying me, they absolving me of guilt. You see what I'm saying? They absolve me of guilt, and it's filling me with just joy of being able to do something, man, being able to help. And if everybody really wants joy and peace, I'm telling you, it's peace and joy in this type of work, man. It's in this, seeing those children every day, happy, smiling, right? Enjoying the fruits of what we do, we provide. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right? Like it's a thing, man. It's a beautiful thing. But I'm doing it every 2 weeks. I'm gonna try to do this every 2 weeks as much as I can until I just run out of resources, man.
Every 2 weeks.
I'm gonna try to create. I'm gonna try to save. I'm not gonna let them gentrify it. I'm not gonna let them kill it off, man. So I'm gonna try to just keep attention to at this mug as much as I can until they just decide, hey, let's just start building these mugs up. Let's do something to make them more beautiful. Because it's really getting pushed back from all the middle class or high class people to live around it. Just pressing our city to let this thing die because they tired of this ugly thing being in their bed of roses. You see what I'm saying? And instead of trying to make that thing beautiful, let's get rid of it and put something else we want beautiful there. It's money dictating all this stuff, man. You see what I'm saying? So I just want to make sure, that they understand that I'm not just, it's people not, man. Humanity is still out here. God not, whatever. It's not going, like, he put us here to fight, man. He put some of us here to fight. He put some of us here for whatever reason, man. I'm one of the people that I guess my life has just been geared up to get ready to fight this machine, right? It made me so insulated, the machine, know it so intricately. It said, hey, man, now take all that knowledge and destroy it and destroy it.
Yeah.
And that's really what I want to do, man. I want to bring arts, literature, and science. I want to bring community back. I want to bring it back to my community, but to the world in general, man. You know what I mean? We don't, even us, man, we call our neighborhoods hoods now. We took neighbor out of it. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got to put the neighbor back in hood, man. We got to do it. Especially black people, man. We got to do it because while they can keep us divided, united we stand, divided we fall. While they can keep us divided at odds with each other, they can kill us off easily, one by one, exactly like George Floyd, right? They can kill us off.
Yeah.
So we need to start paying. They taught us, they desensitized us to ourselves, man. They don't know, like everybody thinks that they can judge what 400 years of subjugation, 500 years of oppression can do to a mentality. They took our confidence. They took our confidence in ourselves. They desensitized us, and they made us devalue our own lives because they devalued it so much that we do too. So we do stuff to each other quickly, right? Because for 500 years they've been saying we ain't shit. We don't deserve life. You see what I'm saying? Nothing.
you put that in us and you beat it into us. You see what I'm saying? And it's been that fear and those beatings, those fear from those beatings been passed down to our people hereditarily for generations, right? Scared, man. They scared. They lost their confidence, man. They lost their fight, man. But we can give it back to them, man. If we can just show them that you can do it, that it can be done. You know what I mean? So I just want to educate all those people. I want to give those people a fair shot at whatever. You see what I'm saying? A fair shot at whatever. If I can bring them from some relief that'll get them closer to a fair shot, then that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. I'm probably gonna turn it to the biggest babysitter in Sycamore Meadows on Sunday, right? Probably might drop their kids. I'm for real, but I don't mind. I know all of them. I know all the children, so I don't mind. I don't mind. And everybody welcome to bring their children, man. It's gonna be a beautiful event. I don't know if I'm gonna have my bouncy house, man, but I'm gonna fight hard for it, man.
Yeah, we
But I
are.
appreciate your opportunity, man.
Hey, no problem, man. And then after this, man, we got ways of doing fundraisers and different things of that nature. So I'll be more than happy to do a fundraiser with you, so you can use the money for your project that you're doing at Sycamore Meadows, man. I'm all about whatever I can do to help, man. You know what I mean? Whatever I can do to push your agenda. This is why I started the Community Spotlight series, because I want to spotlight people that's doing things in the community, positive things, that's making change. And I believe you're one of those people. So that's why I grabbed Hurry Up and Got You when you was at the protest, because I definitely wanted you on the show, because you impressed me with what you were saying, because everything was truthful. You know what I mean? And like I said before, I like to get people that's from the community to speak, because y'all know this community better than I do. So, I'm not into just going in somewhere, get to talking, and I don't even know. It's best to get people that that know what they're talking about, that's actually from the community. So that's what I was out there doing, finding capable people, man. And you most definitely did a great job today, man. But I want to leave on a note that if you have anything else that you want to say, man, anything, the time that your event is, this is the time that you can say it before we sign off.
Yeah, my event is Sunday the 26th of this month at 7 o'clock. I'm doing a movie night. Hopefully I got a popcorn machine and a cotton candy machine. I'm trying to get a bouncy house, but I got a big barbecue grill coming out there. I got some spoken word. I got some singing going on. I'm just trying to make a live little event, man. I'm trying to make a little Belle Isle right here in Ipsy for the little children. You know what I'm saying? Just to provide these children. If anybody want to bring their children, if anybody want to bring something to contribute to, like this, I'm just trying to create like a movie atmosphere for the children. Okay. So if anybody wants to bring something to contribute to that, or water guns, anything that's gonna keep a whole lot of children
occupied.
Until and I appreciate all y'all support. I want to say this to all the people who helped me, man. Y'all the greatest people in the world, man. Like, I'm so lucky to have all you people in my life, man. Hey, man, let's fight the system.
Hey, man, it was a pleasure. I don't want you to think that when the screen go full, I just want to explain it to you. It's going to throw you back into the backstage, and just, then we'll talk about the fundraiser and different thing afterwards. Okay. So hold on 1 second. Okay. And again, it was a pleasure having you, Mr. John Q.
Okay.
All right, people, that was Mr. John Q doing some things in the neighborhood. That's our first episode of Community Spotlight. If it's anything that you can contact me personally, you can contact John Q. He is on Facebook, to help him out with his event. Water guns. He said anything that's going to keep kids happy. That's a tall task. So he's going to need he's definitely going to need help in that area. I'm gonna help him the best, Breathe to help him the best we can. So, you know, that's the thing, but we need the community to come out and really help this brother get this going, man. Hey, much love to everybody that's coexist. Oh, before I leave, I want to tell y'all about the next episode. Episode 2 will be Miss Allie. This would be the next episode. This would be on the 27th at 7 p.m. And basically, we'll be talking about what she's doing in the communities that she advocates. So that's episode 2 with Miss Allie Hughes. So much love to everybody. Coexist, prayer, and action works.